Welcome back to Local Garden Queens. It's mid-October, late morning here in the Brooklyn Garden. We had a couple of freezes already, a little early in the season as far as the temperature drop. We got down to about 24 degrees, which is pretty cold. Broke a record or two, I think. Everything is pretty much burnt up in the garden except for the kale and the cold hardy things. They look like they survived. Let's take a quick look, see what's still growing. Probably not for long. Let's begin with behind the house. We have the celery that's cold hardy and still going. Of course, the reduced amount of sunlight as the days are getting shorter, it's slowed down the growth anyway. The peppers that used to be here are done. Mint, it's still looking good. And the green onion along with some bok choy. And that's not going anywhere. It's bolting. You see the flowers on them. Not much sun behind the house or next to the house. It's north facing, so days are pretty short. This first bed here, this was the eggplant. It's obviously done now. You see a whole bunch of carrot seedlings among the bok choy and some hot peppers left over, but they're squishy and soft from the freeze. Peppers are done. And this bed here, the bok choy bolted. It must have been too cold for it. In the pots there were peppers. One pepper wasn't picked in time, a green bell pepper, and it feels mushy. So that's done. And this beautiful bed of kale. Survived the cold, survived the freeze. The couple of freezes actually. It's looking good. The leaves I notice are a little soft, softer than they were. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm gonna try it, see if kale does get sweeter after frosts. And here was long bean among the kale also in this bed. Of course the long bean is done and the kale still stands. So let's move on over to this raised mound here. There were zucchini, which are of course done. And here were cucumbers on that trellis there. And all that's left is a whole bunch of carrot seedlings. It's going to be a lot of carrots here come spring. Maybe we can pull some out through the winter. We'll see. And here we have carrot seedlings among with some kale. This one got hit hard, it looks like. Maybe it was exposed more than the others. And of course, young bok choy seedlings here. And coming in a little closer, there's some greens, some salad greens here. So that's nice. They weathered the frost, the freeze actually. And maybe they'll continue to grow if more freezes don't come anytime soon. Maybe we can pick something. So going around this bed, let me give you another look at this kale. Very mature, large kale plant. Very thick trunk. The leaves have been getting picked. But again, they're on the soft side. Over here I planted some red lettuce. The seedlings sprung up and they withered the freezes. They look pretty good actually. Very tender. I'll let it get a little bigger. Maybe we'll pick some, see how they taste. And of course, the kale plants here, they're getting eaten up by bugs, but they're still standing. You can see a lot of, looks like bugs. Maybe they froze. Anyway, let's continue with this bed. Of course, the bok choy bolting, And this looks like cilantro. Yep, cilantro here, scattered about among the bok choy. And strawberries. No strawberries, but the plants look good. We have a pumpkin that's been eaten. It wasn't ripe, so we just left it there. Figured give it to the squirrels or whoever dug at it. Maybe it was ripe. You see a whole bunch of seeds here. Maybe that's going to be next year's pumpkin vines. So looking at the trellis bed here, of course the bitter melon and the long bean, they are done for the season, got burned. And all I see on the bottom is a whole bunch of carrot seedlings. As you look up, everything is burned and done for the season. And the next bed over, the same. That's it. It's to be expected anyway. Wasn't planning for this to survive. Moving around this bed, not much again, except for of course carrot seedlings everywhere and some bok choy scattered about. So here were the sugar snap peas all along the edge. They got burned, not looking too good. They didn't have enough time. You see some flowers here. Not enough time to make the peas. But there's some lettuce seedlings, mixed salad greens were planted here. Not much, of course, but they actually survived the cold temperatures. So it's good to know. They're very cold hardy, it seems. And the next bed over, there were tomatoes here. Of course, everything is done. And one lone pumpkin. That one is, I felt it and it's squishy, so it's done with the freezes. And the next bed over, where the big carrot plant was with the tomatoes. Yeah, with pumpkin here, immature pumpkin that was eaten and frozen. And of course, butternut squash that was immature. And this was the compost pile, the finished compost, which actually it wasn't finished. This is going to be the next year's compost, I think. The finished one was a little further down. And here's the newest compost pile, which I'm going to work on today. And you see the other bed in the back with some comfrey. Some comfrey over there in the corner. You still see some tomatoes here. They actually feel kind of hard. Maybe they're still good. So I guess it was pockets, because you look at these tomatoes, they're obviously squishy and done. They were killed by the frost, or frozen anyway. It looks like there were pockets of freezes. Some places did better than others. So let me come around here, going through. Here's the newest compost pile that I'm gonna probably move over and make room for the next compost pile. And of course there were potatoes here. This is where the new compost pile is gonna go. We had long bean here, which is no more. And there was some pumpkin here. Now again, everything was harvested. Everything that was ripe or close to it. The pumpkins, the butternut squash, everything was harvested before the first freeze came. So we obviously did get a harvest. So this was the Brooklyn garden for today. What you see here, I don't think we're gonna get any more. It's all downhill from here. It's been downhill from here. This is probably the last update for the season. So as always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.